Hi guys, it's Ziva here. Welcome back to my channel. I hope that you had a lovely Christmas with your family and loved ones, and now it's time to get your head back in the game. Now, the reason why I wanted to do today's video is because this is a very crucial part of the year for me personally, because this is when I feel as though I can either start to think about all of the things that I have not achieved or ascertained in the year and take that negativity into next year, or from right now I can start planning, doing a vision board. If you're spiritual, then there might be practices that you might do, or whatever it is. If you're religious, then you do what you do. So it's time for you right now, at this very moment, to start taking on board the things that you want to ascertain next year, and to start planning and preparing for you achieving them. And for me, the best way for me to actually do that is to actually lie down. You can do it in silence, you can open the window and have the outdoor noises, or you can put on some nature sounds or meditation music, or maybe a piano instrumental. It's up to you. Then it's about lying down for as long as you feel you need to. There's no right way, there's no wrong way to do this. Lie down for as long as you feel you need to, with your eyes closed or open. It's entirely up to you. And you just get yourself into that state of already thinking that you have all of the things that you want. It really helps you to see how you would feel if you had the life you wanted, or if you had the relationship you wanted, if you had the business that you want to have, if there's a dream job that you're looking for. I'm not too sure. Most of the women on my channel aren't that way inclined, but if you are and you have a career that you're passionate about, even it could be YouTube. Like me, I'm really getting into my YouTube stuff and I'm definitely feeling that spark with it again. So if there is something that you really want to achieve next year, you want to put yourself in the state of already having it. Not only helps you vibrationally to get closer to it, but also it helps you to feel that you're already there, and it keeps you going. It gives you that hope. It gives you that momentum that you need to keep on going, because most of the time, if you're not where you want to be and it's a long time until you feel like you'll ever get there, or you don't really believe that you'll ever get there, this going into that state when you close your eyes and you feel yourself into having what you want already, you feel yourself into being in the relationship you want to be in, or in the dream job that you want to be in, you feel yourself already being there. Maybe your family members are congratulating you that you have this new job position, or that you're now engaged or married, or whatever it is for you, or that you're pregnant. You just pretend like it's happening. You pretend as though it has happened. So instead of wishing and hoping and dreaming about things, you put yourself in the moment of already having it. In that time when you're doing that, it really feels so real. And that is the power of the imagination, really, because it can change you can change your mood. You can change your mood, and you will actually see that when you're in that quiet space, you will start having ideas about things, and everything just seems to come together when you kind of do that. It really helps out. If right now you're feeling slightly deflated, you've been around everybody at Christmas telling you all of the wonderful things that they're doing with their life, and you kind of feel as though you're stagnant and your life is not really going the way that you want it to, then just going into that space and imagining already being in living the life that you want to live helps you to, if anything, lift your mood at that time when you're doing it. If last year, well, this year, 2021, I'm already jumping ahead to next year, but if this year you feel as though you've had things that you wanted to do and you didn't get to do them, or you had a weight goal that you wanted to reach, you didn't reach it. You maybe had a makeup perfection goal that you wanted to reach and you haven't yet. Maybe it's a hair length goal, maybe it's just in terms of being nicer to yourself mentally. It could be anything. Maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's you want to create a family or spend more time with your mom, or it could be anything. It's about making sure that you're not being hard on yourself and that you do those things next year. I know that this might be a video that maybe people are not too interested in hearing. Lots of you just want to hear about how do I get to the money, how do I do this, how do I do that. At the end of the day, if your mindset isn't in the right space, you're never going to get there anyway. So this is a fundamental video, and your mind, your imagination is the foundation of you having the things that you want to have. And I'm going to give you a prime example right now. We have all experienced when we think about somebody and then they phone us, or we think of somebody and just briefly and then we let it go, and then they send us a text message, or we bump into them, or a family member brings them up, or a friend mentions that person's name or that specific person. We have all experienced that before. Why would it be different if you're thinking about something that you want and then it happens? Why would it be any different? It isn't. Obviously, everything does have its own timing that is going to happen in your life. So you have to remember that as well. But try to stay optimistic at this time of year and going into next year. Let's start it with a clean, fresh slate for yourself. And I would say for you to actually start it this year. So if you're the type of person who does New Year's resolutions, I would scrap the New Year's resolutions and do today's resolutions ongoing. So more of lifestyle changes as opposed to, right, from the beginning of this year I'm going to be this brand new person. No, be her today and then it's going to become normal. So by the time next week rolls around with New Year's, you're going to be more into the rhythm of already being the person you want to be. Why wait until the first of the month when you could start right now? And something that I mentioned to you this year was about doing more events and pushing yourself to feel the fear and do it regardless. If you feel uncomfortable, you should be going to places regardless. Push yourself out of your comfort zone and do the things that maybe you haven't done but you've wanted to do. Something that I found that I have really enjoyed thoroughly this year are wine tasting events. I have been doing so many of those, and in London there are so many wine tastings. If you're doing them to meet people, like-minded women or potential men to date, then if you're on this channel, then I know that you're going to want to do wine tastings that are at least £50 plus. So far my most expensive wine tasting that I've done was about £150. So you've got to think, you're meeting the types of people who you want to meet. There are also dinners that you can do. You can attend charity events, charity galas, lunches as well. So there are those things you can do. And if you go to somewhere for charity and you are alone, it is not weird because you're doing it for charity. If you're nervous about going to those types of events alone, don't be. If you are the only person who is alone, and I've been the only person who's been on my own at events before, and at the end of the day, I just couldn't care less. I couldn't care less. And sometimes it actually hinders you when you go with friends, and you know, sometimes your friends don't know how to act. Let's just be honest. Like, remember I told you guys that I met a woman at a wine tasting that I went to, and she seemed like a really like-minded, woman and blah blah blah, and I still talk to her, we still do things together, we still go out together and la la la, but she is a big flirt with men. And what I noticed when we were actually out at one of the wine tastings that we went to together is that she was deterring people because of the way she was being. She was really laying it on way too thick. And I even said to her, "You're very flirty, aren't you?" And she admitted to it, and you know, we kind of laughed about it, but I could tell the reaction on men's faces that they were turned off by it, but she didn't see that. Men don't want to be pursued, they don't want to be chased, they don't want any of that, they don't want any parts of it. At one point she was flirting way too much with this guy, and I guess his friend was nervous because it seemed like she talked way too much as well, and they went off. So that could have been a potential like conversation, but she scared them off. So just make sure that when you are having these friends that you guys all want to have, well, not all of you, but lots of you do want these friends, sometimes they just get in the way. So if you go by yourself, you have nobody there to get in your way, nobody there to be repelling people who you want to meet, or you're completely in your own element and you're able to do what you want, talk to who you want to, for how long you want to speak to them. You're able to move around and speak to different people. You're able to just have your evening or day go as you want it to go, without having to do what everybody else wants, or leave when they want to leave, or whatever it really is. So just make sure that when you are pushing yourself to go to these events, that you're going with somebody who you know is not going to embarrass you if you are going with friends. And if you're going alone, then just, if you feel lonely, just remember that I go to events by myself as well, and I do just fine. I'm not shaking in my boots. I feel completely fine, and I have a really nice time actually. So when you're by yourself, you're actually able to speak to more people as well. When you're with a friend or friends, you're sticking together and you're all talking about everything to each other. When you're alone, other people include you. Other people seem to gravitate towards you and speak to you. Well, that's the experiences that I've had. I've never been to an event on my own and just sat there talking to myself, or or just talking out loud to myself. I've never done that. I've always had people to speak to, and it's always other people introducing themselves to me. So at the end of the day, as long as you go somewhere and you look happy, nobody's going to assume that you feel ridiculous being there alone. Okay, so poker face, just poker face it and you'll be fine. I really do want you ladies to actually do these events. Even if you say to yourself, look, I'm going to do one event every 2 months or one event every 3 months, just push yourself and go. You'll find that you will enjoy it, and it's not as bad as maybe you are thinking it's going to be. You're going to find that. So I would urge you to go to these events. Lots of people also say to me that they're wanting to obviously they want to date and they want to meet men. They're not getting approached really in person, and they want to turn to online dating. But at the end of the day, you can use all of your outdoor organic resources first if you want to. That means pushing yourself to go to those places, going to cafes, going to brasseries, sitting at the bar seating area in nice places. You know, you have got these options as well. So I feel as though with you being in the right mindset and mind space, and doing the work that we spoke about at the beginning of this video, plus going out, going to events, going to places that you know that these well-established men who you want to date are at, then it's going to happen at some point. So you have to understand that it's going to happen at some point. It's not going to take 10 years. It's not going to take 12 years. It's not going to take 15 years. It's going to happen at some point. So ladies, I think I'm going to love you and leave you here and end this video. But I really hope that this was a helpful one. I hope that this has helped you to get that level of optimism that you need. I know that sometimes we can seriously become like a pessimistic person, but at the end of the day, I think that everything that we want we can really have, and it's just about it happening at the right time, that it's going to happen. And also it's about us doing that imagination work that I spoke about at the beginning of this video as well, because it helps to put your mental where it needs to be. Okay, so it helps to keep you uplifted, and even in that moment, those 15 minutes or half an hour or hour that you're doing that, you're feeling elevated with your mood. So I'm going to leave it here on that note. Like I always say, I wish you ladies a wig shaking new year. I hope that you have a fabulous start to 2022, and I'll see you next year.